Hey there, my name is Sean, and I'm the founder of Starfall Labs, a business that strives to achieve the mission of inspiring the next generation of innovators. Since you clicked on this video, it most likely means you're either eager to start learning about the world of electronics or are interested in knowing more about the wide community that is known as Arduino. Well, as someone who's also new to all of this, I'd be glad to share my experiences of this hobby in order to help ease your way into learning as soon as possible. So what is Arduino? Well, there's actually multiple meanings for it. Arduino, when it first started, was a company found in 2005. Over time, however, it has grown into a highly popular electronics platform which not only designs and sells their own Arduino boards, but is also home to a community of millions online and across the globe. The word Arduino, however, also refers to the actual hobby associated with electronics. This means that when someone says they like Arduino, it doesn't necessarily refer to the company or the platform itself, but rather the fact that they love to build and tinker with devices, gadgets, and robots. So really, in just two words, Arduino is just another kind of applied engineering. Remember Tony Stark from Iron Man, Hiro Hamada from Big Hero 6, or maybe even Charlie and Max from Real Steel? These are all movies about characters who built or modified awesome inventions in their very own home. And so in a nutshell, this is essentially the wonderful essence of Arduino, and rather more specifically, DIY electronics. So now that we've got the question of what Arduino is, I would like to finish this video with a quick 3-step guide on how to get started in it, as well as a repeatable 3-step process you can use each time you're ready to challenge yourself and learn something new. So first things first, you're gonna want to get the parts you need to start your very first project. When I started this hobby, the most special experience I had was not trying to build the most complicated device or robot I could dream of, but rather putting together a simple electrical circuit. All I used, an Arduino board, a breadboard, a resistor, some wires, and a single LED. As for step 2, I then downloaded the Arduino IDE, which is essentially the software used to bring any project to life. If you've ever used Python, Scratch, or even Unreal Engine, you know that for any program or device to work, you've got to give it the instructions it needs to think and move. You can find this software on the official Arduino website, so I'd suggest downloading it as soon as possible. It's free and codes in a simple version of C++, so it's a great gateway for anyone who also wants to start practicing their coding skills. So now that I have both my parts and the software needed to make them work, all I needed was to learn how the heck do I put them all together. This would be step 3 of my 3-step guide, and this is what I also say is one of the coolest parts about this hobby. Across the internet are thousands upon thousands of videos about how to get started in Arduino. My first lesson was on a YouTube video called How to Blink an LED with Arduino from the channel Science Buddies. Though the video was quite in-depth and detailed, it was easy to follow, and without a moment's notice, I had both unknowingly and spectacularly lit up my first LED. Though this was nothing at all impressive, there was a great charm that came to simply watching your very first creation come to life. And this is what I would say marked my journey in electronics. So now that we know how to get started in electronics and build our very first project, the next thing we're going to need is an actionable and repeatable process we can use to learn anything we want as we go. First, what is it that you want to build? The amazing thing with DIY electronics is there's no limits to what you can create. You don't need to buy a specific set with exclusive parts needed to build it. You can find what you need online, in your local warehouse, a nearby electronics shop, or, well, as you might guess, Starfall Labs. When I first started this hobby, I sourced all of my components and equipment from stores like Amazon, JCar, and eBay. The biggest problem, however, was that I didn't know which parts were the most common among hobbyists and which were compatible with Arduino-based components and boards. That's one of the reasons why I created Starfall Labs, to not only ease beginners into learning about the world of electronics, but also to give them a platform where they can feel inspired to create. Right now, I'd recommend the Elegoo Super Starter Kit, and I know, I did just say that you don't need a specific set with with exclusive parts to work on Arduino projects. But the reason why it's still recommended is because it comes with an assortment of different parts made for beginners that you can find online and at my store, but all in one box. This was also the same kit I bought when I first started in Arduino, which is why it's the only branded product which I personally endorse. It comes with a variety of components like motors, LEDs, and sensors to develop a foundational knowledge in science and engineering. Nonetheless, once you've got your parts, you're going to want to go to step 2, which is to find a tutorial. Like I mentioned before, Science Buddies was my personal favorite when I started. But there are also a lot of other great channels like Robotics and Mark Rober, in case those are more suited for you. Lastly, and this is probably the most important step, is to make your own projects. One of the things I did when I first started was that whenever I finished following a tutorial, I would immediately dismantle and modify my circuit with other components that I had in my room. Nowadays, I like to use my 3D printer to build personal enclosures for my projects so I can make them super clean and professional. And with that, there's basically an unlimited number of projects you can make. Maybe you can make your own electrical fan to cool you off on a hot day, or a security sensor attached to your door to give your room a cool and personal vibe. Or maybe even build a robot car or boat you can test out in your local park. The choice is yours. And that's really it for that 3-step process. Find your parts, look for a tutorial, modify or finish projects, and repeat. Because the best kind of learning isn't just reading thousands of textbooks and sitting on a desk for 1 to 2 hours, but rather applying your knowledge and learning on the go. If you watched this video to the very end, I really appreciate it and I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to always follow those 2 3-step plans and make sure to stay tuned to other videos available on the Starfall Labs channel in case you're interested. And if you want to support my mission to inspire the next generation of innovators, come visit Starfall Labs to find all the parts and kits you need to get started. But until then, keep building, keep innovating, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.